Common beginner quilting mistakes and how to fix them. If you are new to quilting and quietly wondering, am I doing this wrong? Let me stop you right there. You are not bad at quilting. You are not just not cut out for it. And no, your quilt is not ruined. What you are experiencing is completely normal. Today I'm going to walk you through the most common beginner quilting mistakes I see all of the time, and more importantly, how to fix them. Make sure you stick around until the end because I will tell you which mistakes actually matter and which ones you can safely ignore. Almost every problem beginner quilters run into comes down to a handful of mistakes no one warned you about before you start. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because quilting is a skill you learn by doing. Mistake number 1, cut fabric incorrectly. This is the big one. Most beginner quilting problems don't start at the sewing machine, they start at the cutting table. When you are new, cutting feels like the boring part that you just need to get through so you can start sewing. Rotary cutters feel awkward, rulers slide, and it's easy to think that close enough is good enough. Here's what that causes: blocks that don't match up, seams that refuse to line up, and a quilt top that slowly goes off the rails. How to fix it? Slow down your cutting. Square up your fabric yardage before cutting it. Use a sharp rotary blade. This matters more than most people think. Hold the ruler firmly so it doesn't slide. If your pieces are already cut, don't panic. A lot of quilts can be gently nudged back into shape with careful sewing and pressing. Mistake number 2, inconsistent seam allowances. That tiny 1/4 inch seam allowance causes more frustration than almost anything else in quilting. A 1/4 inch is small and not very forgiving. Add beginner nerves, and different presser feet and consistency can disappear fast. What it causes: blocks that turn out too small or too large. Quilt tops that don't fit together even though you followed the pattern. How to fix it? Pick one way to sew a 1/4 inch seam and stick with it, either using a 1/4 inch presser foot, magnetic seam guide, or washi tape on your machine bed. Test on scrap fabric before you start sewing on your good fabric. Focus on being consistent and not perfect. Your seams do not need to be textbook perfect. They just need to be same-ish every time. Mistake number 3, sewing too fast. This one surprises a lot of beginners. There's excitement, nerves, and a strong desire to just get it done. Faster feels confident, but it frequently backfires. It leads to crooked seams, fabric slipping and or stretching, mistakes you have to fix later. Fix it by slowing your machine down, letting your feed dogs do the work, watching the edge of your fabric and not the needle. Quilting rewards calm and steady a lot more than speed. Mistake number 4, ironing instead of pressing. Yes, there is a difference, and most beginners don't know that. In quilting, we press. That means placing the iron down and lifting it up, not sliding it. Ironing can cause distorted blocks, wavy fabric, pieces that stretch out of shape, especially triangles. How to fix it? Press your seams and press after every step, not at the end of the block. Think of pressing as setting the fabric in place, not smoothing wrinkles out. Mistake number 5, choosing a pattern that is too advanced for you. We all want to make that big, beautiful quilt right out of the gate, but that is a quick way to get overwhelmed. Patterns don't always clearly explain what beginner-friendly really means. This often leads to feeling overwhelmed, getting stuck partway through, and quilts quietly becoming UFOs or unfinished objects. How to fix it? Start with patterns that use straight seams and simple blocks like half-square triangles. Build skills by finishing quilts. Save the complicated stuff for later. Every finished quilt you make makes the next one easy. Mistake number 6, expecting the quilt to look good too early. This is the sneakiest mistake of all. On social media, you see beautiful finished quilts. What you don't see is the awkward, messy middle. This causes second guessing, discouragement, and the urge to quit halfway through. How to fix it? Don't judge your quilt until it's finished. Understand that quilts usually come together very late in the process. Aim for finish, not perfect. Almost every quilt has a stage where it looks questionable, and that's perfectly normal. Which mistakes matter? Remember what I said when I said I would tell you which mistakes matter? Here's the good news. Most beginner mistakes do not mean you need to start over. Some things are worth fixing, such as a 1/2 inch difference in the size of your block. that's going to cause a problem. Some things can be adjusted, and some things are perfectly fine to be left alone. If your points don't come perfectly together, that's totally fine. Part of learning to quilt is learning which mistakes matter and which ones don't. Every quilter you admire has made all of these mistakes, probably more than once. I'm Linda Johnson, and I've been quilting for over 20 years. Let me help you on your quilting journey.